Thanks again, Lindia. So as some of you may know, this evening is round one of the NFL draft. And 5 years ago this weekend, 5 years ago Saturday, the Patriots, with their fifth round selection, took a linebacker out of Purdue University. And I still remember Nick Caserio, then the Patriots player personnel director, in his post-draft press conference, stood at the podium and told the media there, "You're going to love the story of Juwan Bentley, two-time captain in high school at DeMatha Catholic in Washington, D.C., the first three-time captain at Purdue University. Came to the Patriots, and I think by year three was a team captain once again. Defines leadership and perennially has been one of the team's most productive players on the field week in, week out, playing every game, among the leading tacklers, if not leading tackler on the team. Juwan Bentley here now with the Patriots, working out, taking time to be with us this morning. And I got to start with a football question. We'll start there before we really dive into the story of why you have such a vested interest in Pine Street Inn and give back as you do. Draft this weekend, what does it take you back to? What are the thoughts, as you put yourself back in the shoes of kid out of Purdue dreaming of being in the NFL?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the intro. It definitely takes me back to a time where I was a Saturday guy, so day three guy. The build-up is kind of crazy. You inviting family members over, and you're kind of hesitant because you don't really know how long it's going to take for you to get drafted. And it's a lot of anxieties at all-time high. So you really just try to minimize as much of that as possible. So day one, I actually went to the movies just to try to get my mind off of it. And I was just kind of watching the movies, and at the same time, you're getting alerts on ESPN, and you're like, yeah, this not going to work. So I end up leaving the movies and just sat at home and just watched some of my friends get drafted. But it's definitely an experience that once in a lifetime kind of experience to change your family's lives.
Well, Lindia mentioned that you've been to the Pine Street Inn, and you've talked to the people there. You've represented the Patriots in so many different ways in the community. Why the Pine Street Inn? Where's the personal resonance for you to this cause today?
I would say, for sure, growing up, I kind of told the story a few times with the Patriots. My journey was kind of different from everybody else's. When I was in, I would say, middle school, we were kind of living like your typical family, we was at the time Fort Washington, Maryland, which I went to DeMatha Catholic High School, which is in Hyattsville, Maryland, probably 45 minutes away. But starting in middle school, kind of your typical seventh grader, trying to play football, multitasking, being a student athlete, things like that. Then, I don't know where you kind of notice that things are starting to change. We was in a predominantly, I would say, middle class neighborhood. Then I don't know where you kind of experienced different changes. I would say my dad had got laid off around that time. And that was new for me. One, as a kid, you don't know what being laid off is. You kind of like, all right, he got laid off. All right, Dad, I'll see you tomorrow. Like you don't know what to do with that information. So that happened to my dad. But at the same time, my mom did a great job of keeping me and my younger brother kids. So we didn't really know what was going on. We were allowed to continue to kind of live our life. So I kept that in mind when I joined the Patriots. You always think back about how far you've come, but you don't really want to look too far until you actually get to where you're trying to go. And that was a big thing for me. So being in the position that I am now and hearing all the great things that Pine Street is able to do for families, it definitely meant a lot for me to get involved.
As you've told the story to Patriots.com, how I was introduced to it, between that period when your dad was laid off and the day you became a Patriot, there was a long time where you and your family were homeless.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a long time. It definitely seems longer when you're in it. So when I went to Purdue grad, shout out to my Boilermakers. So when I went to Purdue, obviously it was a great time for my family just to I kind of saw what football was able to take me coming out of DeMatha, and I was able to go to Purdue. However, my family was still in the situation of being homeless. So we were crashing with aunties, uncles, grandparents. It was kind of like, it felt like a rotation in a way, kind of seeing how things were going. Obviously, you love your family, but obviously people have different things going on in families. Like, even though you're going to grandma also has her family. So they have different things they're going through as well, and you're kind of implementing and trying to combine families. So it could be a lot of things going on. And me, again, being a young person, you don't really know. So I'm over at Purdue. Meanwhile, my parents were still struggling, so to speak, with getting my younger brother going, getting him involved in certain things just to keep him being a kid, kind of how they did me.
How would you describe what it was like, your observations of your parents, the strain, the stress of it, even for a young man and with a younger brother going through it?
But like I said, my parents did a good job of just allowing us to be kids. I would say it was a lot of the story that I'm able to tell now, I had no clue about when we were going through it, simply because my parents made it that way. So my parents let me know that they had to spend nights in the car. I had no clue about that. Like, I was like, wow, I didn't know it was that bad until they let me know. And I was like, wow, it's crazy how far, I'm a man of faith. So I definitely see God move in certain aspects of my life. And a lot of situations that I went through, there's only one explanation. And I was kind of talking about this in the back. A lot of situations that I was in, you can't really put into words. Like, obviously, I would love to tell somebody who's watching me and my story how to get through it, like what roads to go down, what to do, what to not do, what kind of people to keep around you. But there's also a stint in that story where I have no explanation, because it just felt like God had his hand on me. And it's like, I have no other explanation than that. That's the only part of the story that has gaps in it. And that's the only explanation that I have.
You obviously had a talent as an athlete. How did people outside of your family structure help you to fully realize that talent as an athlete? And how important was it as well, being a young man, trying to deal with what you were coming of age in general, but as you were coming of age in general, but also with your family? Is that experience, the reality was setting in?
Well, I would say I didn't want to play football. And that's probably a huge, I guess, a hot take, that you would say.
Anybody who listens to me, Juwan, especially on Fridays, knows I'm not a hot take guy.
Okay. All right, for those who do, this is a hot take. Growing up, I did not want to play football. That was something that I always had the size for. I always was a bigger kid. But I was the kid that was coming home from school, eager to, I can't wait to get home so I could go home, cook me some Hot Pockets, put some Hot Pockets in the microwave and play video games all night. That was what I felt was my happy place, something that kept me quiet. Like, I think when I would get in trouble, the worst thing my mom could say is, unplug the game. That was like crushing it. That would tighten me right back up. But me not wanting to play football, my younger brother, me and him are 5 years apart, he got into playing flag football. So when he joined the flag football team of our local, the KLM Cougars at the time, when he joined the team, I used to avoid going to his practices. So as he would go to practice, I would kind of make sure I'm at a cousin's house. So my mom ain't like, hey, you gonna go to, his name's Gerard, you gonna go to Gerard's practice? And I'm like, I got this to do. Because I knew the minute that they saw me there, they were gonna talk me into it. So one day, my older cousin went with my younger brother, and my mom kind of guilt-tripped me. She said, are you really not gonna go to any of your little brother's practice? And I was like, that sounds bad. Yeah, I should probably go. So I went, and I like grabbed a lawn chair. Just picture your local younger kids football team. Everybody has a lawn chair. That's like the thing. So everybody has a lawn chair, and I have my lawn chair, but I'm sitting all the way in the back. And my cousin kind of wanders off to the football where the older guys are playing. And he comes back, he said, all right, Juwan. Now he knows how I feel already. Hey, Juwan, all right, I know you don't want to play, but they said you don't even have to get in. You could just try on the uniform. So I'm like, I know how the story goes. So I went over there, tried the uniform on, and he was like, all right, well, you can just stand in the back. So I stand in the back of a practice, like all the way in the back, hiding behind one of the bigger coaches, and just stood there and just watched about how I'm not going to do anything. I'm like, I'm not getting out there. To the point Fast forward, I finally joined the team, but I never got in. I was just a watcher. I made sure of that. I fall down on the field. They put me out there. Somebody gets hurt. I end up on the field for some reason. I fall down, and I felt pressure on my hand. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the perfect time for me to get out of here. I lay there. You would have thought my injury was serious. Somebody stepped on my finger. I was like, yeah, we're gone. And coach runs out in the field. He was like, what happened? I was like, I think somebody stepped on my hand. He said, man, get up, come on. But that's like the story that nobody really knows, just because you think, oh, football player, he must have been playing since he was a younger kid. No, I was actually one of the kids that didn't want to play. You see the lines where they did the little hitting drills? They were like, oh, you would learn a lot about people based on the hitting drill line. Yeah, I was in the back. I was like, that story is not true, because a lot of people that play now, we stood in the back sometimes too. But as my cousin played, I wanted to get good at it too. I saw the passion that they played with, and it was inspiring to me. Especially after the games, when you see your family members, you see how well they did. I played offensive tackle when I started actually playing. I was an offensive tackle, but my cousin then played quarterback and running back. So they're getting all of the love. And I'm like, yeah, I think I could play a little running back. So as time went on, I just started watching more football, and I realized that I had a knack for certain things, and I had like a good memory on as far as like watching certain people play. At the time, I used to watch Teddy Bruschi, Mike Wright, Mike Vrabel, all those guys. Then I became a football junkie in that way. So that was kind of like the only reason that I ended up on the football field as my younger brother.
Wow. Yeah, keep that in mind on Sunday when Juwan's running over a guard to blast the running back in the backfield.
Came a long way.
You have come a long way, and you've made it to the NFL, and you've achieved what very few do, let alone to make it to the NFL, to have longevity in the NFL now. How's it changed your family's lives, looking back on it? You had a chance to buy a home. What was that experience like?
It was, at the time, it was a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Because at that time, you really kind of look back about how far you've come. I try not to look too far in the past, just because you're always kind of like focused on the next thing. Like even draft day around this time. Yeah, it's a kind of a short-lived excitement, because you see how far you come, you end up getting drafted, but then you realize how much more work it is to do. So you really only could sit in that for so long. But when I was able to help my family get a home, it was special for me simply because, like I said earlier, I could see the way that God had just moved in my life and how things drastically changed. I went from not having a home to buying my parents a home. And that was like powerful for me. And I think it still hasn't kind of hit me yet about how far we've come. And at the end of the day, I could really just give credit to my parents, especially my mom, just because instilling the values in me. Every day I left the house as a kid, she would say, be a leader, not a follower. Be a leader, not a follower. Be a leader, not a follower. She said this from 6 up until I was 18. Be a leader, not a follower. To the point where she'll say, hey, Juwan, what am I say? Be a leader, not a follower, Mom. And she'd be like, all right, don't forget it. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, yeah, she keeps saying that. And obviously you think, all right, yeah, Mom, I'm not following people, so I'm not sure what you're trying to do. But she would just say it to the point where words have power. And a lot of my life has been me kind of growing up avoiding leadership. Anything that I did, I always would somehow become the leader of it. And I couldn't understand why. Like I would be singing in the choir at church, and we'll be sitting there just planning on the songs to sing. And then out of nowhere, the person would look at me like, hey, you gonna lead this song? And I was like, no. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, how do I end up being, they're like, you gonna be our choir leader. You gonna lead this. I believe in you that you can lead this. And I'm like, yo, why I just can't be like everybody else chilling? They get to just show up. They get to do their thing, and they get to leave. When you're a leader or something, now all eyes are on you. If somebody has a question, they're looking at you. I don't have all the answers. But as I grew up, and I was like, all right, Juwan, if you're gonna keep being a leader of something, own it. If you're gonna keep doing it, own it. So then when I finally stopped running from it and started embracing it as a part of me, life became a whole lot easier, because then I just started being myself. I'm not myself if I'm standing in the back, not doing it, because that's just not me. It's not me to not give constructive criticism or an opinion on something or help somebody if I see them going the wrong direction. That's just not me to do that. So me stepping into my light, so to speak, it definitely helped me be more authentic in myself. So I would say it helped me a lot. Thank you.
Juwan, as we leave today very quickly, as a leader, what message would you like to leave to everybody in the room? And in just a few words.
Building off that being authentic part, it's not easy. Everybody's journey is different. I would say that over the course of your journey, there's a lot of moments that you're going to experience that people behind you or sometimes older than you may not have experienced yet. Me growing up, I've been put in situations where as a 26-year-old, a lot of my elders have not been through yet. And there's a lot of situations that they've been through that I haven't been through yet. It's just our journeys are different. Our starting points were different. We're still running a race of our own. We just started in different spots. I started over there, you started right here. We all are trying to run this race though. So I would say as you run your race and you find yourself, continue to be authentic. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Be yourself, put a smile on your face, and just know that at the end of the day, no matter how hard your story is, it has the perfect ending for you. And it's perfect because it's your ending. No matter what somebody tries to write in your book, no matter the pages or the chapters that somebody's trying to write in your book, at the end of the day, you know where the period goes. Sometimes it's not a period, sometimes it's a comma, and your story is just continuing going. So just bring somebody with you as you learn yourself and continue to be authentic. That's all I can say. And I appreciate everybody here. I definitely underestimated this event. You could tell I'm extremely underdressed. But I definitely enjoyed this, and I'm excited about everything that's happened. This is going to be a busy week for a lot of people, but going to events like this lets me know that there's definitely more impact to be made far beyond the football field. The football field is one thing, but life is still happening. And I'm excited to see, I'm excited to see how far we've come and who knows how far we can actually go with more people that gets involved. So thank you.
Well, we're glad your journey led you here. Thank you so much. Juwan Bentley. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.